You have to look at your horse, and when he says no, listen. Why is he saying no? If it's pain, then you're not going to push him through it. If he's saying no because this feels too hard, you probably need to go ahead and do it. That's probably a little bit of I don't want to. There's a difference between I don't want to do this because it hurts and I don't want to do this because it's hard. I just finished riding Stetson here, recording a video for Patreon, and I'll go ahead and use him for the Wash Rack Wednesday video. Doesn't necessarily pertain to him, but it's kind of in general with horses and riders. I hear a lot of riders say, well, I didn't use this bit because my horse didn't like it, or I didn't do this thing because my horse didn't like it. And I know there's a line of thinking that's going around that it's okay for my horse to say no. And you can go with that line of thinking, but how do you address, like, when your kids don't want to eat supper, they don't want to eat vegetable, they don't want to eat the right food for supper, they want to eat candy? Do you let them do that? Do you let them say no and give them whatever they want? Or do you get them to eat the right foods, get them to make the right decisions, do the right things? Or do you let them say no? And a lot of the things that you see me do with horses are a lot of parallels with training horses and raising kids. In both situations, you're raising your kids to be productive members of society. You're raising your horses to be productive, safe companions and to go do different jobs. But you need to teach your horse the same things that you need to teach your child. And if you raise your kids where it's okay to let your kids say no, to tell you no, you're not going to do that thing, then how are the kids going to end up growing up being? And if you do the same thing with your horses, you let them say no, what's that going to do for the horse? I mean, at best, you're going to have a mediocre horse because it doesn't want to do something that's hard. At worst, you're going to be creating a horse that is used to saying no, and that no gets progressively worse and worse and worse. I get horses that come in where it starts out that the owner tells me the horse didn't want to lope. Every time they asked it to lope, it would throw its head or stop or buck or do whatever that thing is. So they quit loping and they just kept trotting, walk, trot. And then eventually that no that they didn't want to do at a lope starts coming into the trot because the trot feels hard. So then they start saying no at a trot. And when you start letting your horse tell you those no's, then it's a downward spiral downhill. Now, doesn't mean that you shouldn't listen to your horse. If there's an issue and you have been loping your horse, now all of a sudden your horse tells you no, that you need to listen. There could be an issue, it could be sore, it could be all kinds of things. But that doesn't mean you're going to automatically say, okay, then we're not going to lope today. You have to balance those two out so that you listen to your horse. You listen to why it's maybe telling you no, but depending on the reason, you may not just accept the no. Just like when you're working with your kids and they don't want to do a certain thing. They don't want to play soccer anymore. And they tell you they don't want to play. Well, maybe you're going to push them to play, maybe you're not. Maybe you say, okay, let's try playing a musical instrument instead. When you're raising kids, you're trying to find what thing suits your child. Same thing with horses. When you're training your horse, you're trying to find that thing that suits the horse. So you have to listen to the horse, but in certain things, you're not just going to accept no. Just like with your child, you're not going to just accept no, they're not going to eat supper and they're going to eat ice cream for supper. You have to put some common sense in there, and it seems like nowadays common sense isn't very common anymore. people will take one thing that somebody says and spread it way more broad, way more extreme than the person that said it ever meant for it to be. You have to look at your horse, and when he says no, listen. Why is he saying no? If it's pain, then you're not going to push him through it. If he's saying no because this feels too hard, you probably need to go ahead and do it. That's probably a little bit of I don't want to. There's a difference between I don't want to do this because it hurts and I don't want to do this because it's hard. When you're a partner with your horse and you go and accomplish something together that's hard, that builds your relationship with the horse. That builds your confidence. That builds the horse's confidence. And if you're working on doing something that's hard with your horse, and that horse says, this is hard, I don't really want to do it, and you accept that, then you're not building that relationship. You're not building that confidence. You're not building that bond between you and your horse. There's a difference between the reasons that you listen to the horse when the horse says no, or the horse says, I don't want to. You have to use a little bit of common sense. There's no blanket always when you're dealing with anything with the horse. There's always that, well, maybe if this is going on. So with no matter what trainer it is, me or anybody else, the things we do are not hard. Always do this thing. There's always going to be exceptions. You always have to listen to your horse. You always have to adjust to the horse. You see me do that in every video that I make. I'm constantly adjusting to the horse. We might go out and ride with a particular game plan and get out there and then we have to adjust. I did a video a while back where the weather conditions were horrible and I had to adjust depending on the horse with the weather conditions that day. So just because your horse says no or I don't want to doesn't necessarily mean you're going to comply with that, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to push him through that either. A video a while back said my horse doesn't get a vote. If I say we're going to do this thing, we're going to do this thing. But I'm also going to take in consideration the whole picture and what this thing is that we're doing. We're trying to build this horse up, and if I'm trying to do too much with the horse, if I'm skipping too many steps and the horse rebels back, that's on me, that's not on the horse. But if we're in the progression of steps, the correct progression, and the horse says this is hard or I don't want to, we're going to go ahead and push and do that next thing. It's all a balance. And when you're working with your horse, everything is a balance. There's no hard decisions in anything with your horse. If you've got any questions about that, put it in the comments below and I'll be happy to talk with you about it. This is Stetson. He just happens to be the one that I'm using for this video because I just recorded another video and just kind of using him to hold me up a little bit. Until next time, thank you for watching.